maintain. You just have to monitor. I also recently went in for a sonogram. Again, if you've seen any of my videos, you've heard this a bunch of times, but I went for another sonogram because I had this kind of like prickly, like price tag, itchy shirt tag sensation on the side of my right breast, which is where I had my lumpectomy, and where I had some lymph nodes removed was on the right there. So I went in for a sonogram to take a look at what that might possibly be. It looks like it might be some kind of oily cyst, but we're going to keep an eye on the cyst. While I was in there going for the sonogram, they noticed that I had some calcification also in my breast. Now, I'm 53, and calcification in your breast is kind of a normal process of aging, depending on how the calcification looks. If it's a single dot, it's not really a big deal. If it's clustered, it could potentially be cancer. I don't necessarily, actually I have to look at the report again. I don't remember. I don't think I have clusters, but I do have calcifications in there, multiple. And this, again, because of my history, now I am a person who has gone through breast cancer and chemo and radiation. Because of that history, everything is overly examined, overly looked at. So the exact term that the radiologist looked at when we were talking about these calcifications, she said, "We are making mountains out of molehills." This is something that I am going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. Molehills will be mountains every single time. And I'm grateful for that. I would rather have a mountain out of a molehill than a molehill out of a mountain, because I do not want to be dismissed. And I'm grateful for the team that I have, where they are paying attention and they're listening to me and not just brushing things under the rug. Because that's the last thing that you want to have, is that kind of medical team. So I'm grateful that everybody is paying attention and that we're doing the most due diligence possible to make sure I don't relapse. I don't have some other occurrence. But yeah, these calcifications could potentially be a sign of a precancer. So I have to go in for a biopsy. I have to have these things looked at. But again, that's going to be for the rest of my life. Monitoring for my heart, it's going to be really for the rest of my life. Super closely now, but keeping an eye on it. My estrogen levels, have to monitor those for at least the next 5 to 10 years to make sure that my body doesn't backslide into premenopausal hormone levels. It's this constant monitoring, and that's, like I said, above and beyond the fear of the cancer. It's everything else that we have to, the fear of, I should say the fear of a lump or something like that, because all these other things tie in, but the heart as well.